So, as we look in general then at the plan as a whole, just a couple of concluding and overall summary remarks. First of all, this plan then would create completely renovated and modernized learning spaces for all of our students up through 8th grade. It would do some of this work at the high school, but we would recognize that there would need to be continued work that would need to be done there. We do have sinking fund for some more years yet, and so some of that money would be tagged to continue bringing the high school along the way as we do the rest of these projects. Some of the things that we have not discussed in detail, but we would be working on our safety and security throughout the district. Some of our secure entrances could continue to be upgraded to be even better from a security and safety standpoint. Additionally, a lot of the pickup and drop-off areas would be addressed in this plan so that buses and parent drop-off areas would be routed better and improve traffic flow and safety for our students as they head to and from school. Across the district then, I alluded to some of the energy upgrades that would be being done. One of the things we haven't talked about to this point, but we have an extensive amount of single pane glass across the district, and so that would be replaced with much more modern and efficient double pane glass throughout our buildings. We would have all of the lighting, therefore, across the district upgraded to LED lights. We would have all of our steam boilers replaced with hot water. And then also from an upgrade standpoint, we would be replacing all of our roofs across the district. As we've discussed, the plan, we believe, would really improve access for our families, having programming be more centralized, having preschools located in the elementary schools with the rest of the students, having a middle school that's centralized in the district rather than being on one end, having a TWE program that's also more central within the district rather than being on the far corner of the district. So improving access for families in a number of ways, and at the same time would generate for us significant annual cost savings, not only with the energy upgrades, but also just from a programmatic standpoint as well. So if we return real quickly to those guiding principles that we talked about at the beginning, the team feels like we've tried to navigate our way through all of these different needs, trying to find a plan that is the best suited for the district. And we've tried to keep all of these principles in mind as we did that. Again, we will be asking here in just a moment for your feedback on how well we're doing with the survey that we would really appreciate your input on. But before we do that, let me conclude by just telling you where we stand in the timeline and what needs to be done and how much more time we do have. So here's the timeline as it currently stands. We had our community meetings here now in September of 2019. We are going to take the input that we received there along with the survey input and go back and continue to work on the plan with our various stakeholder groups and with our overall team. The key time that we are shooting for is November of this year, just a few weeks away, that the final proposed plan must go for approval to the Board of Education in November of 2019. So that is a really crucial date. That meeting will be taking place in the third week of November. The reason that it must be taking place in November is that we will then need to prepare all of the documents that we will be required to present to the Michigan Department of Treasury, and we have a meeting scheduled with them, with the Michigan Department of Treasury, in January of 2020. So we need that about 5-6 week time period there to prepare all the documents that must be submitted to Treasury in January of 2020. So working backwards, this is why that plan must be ready to go in November. Then, moving forward, should Treasury approve our application, there are several more steps that need to be done before the May 2020 election. This election would take place in early May. Ballots need to be printed. The board needs to take some other votes to put things onto a ballot. And those steps all need to be made so that the ballot question can be there for May of 2020. This is why January meeting with the Treasury is really about the last possible date to do that. Should the bond be successful then, design would take place through the remainder of 2020 and indeed throughout the whole scope of all of the projects, we would be doing a lot of design work. But of course, the architects have not started on nitty-gritty drawings until there would be actual approval of the bond project scope. So that design would take place for the remainder of 2020 and into 2021. You would see initial work beginning in 2021, but in fact the bulk of the construction work would occur in 2022 through 2024, when all of these projects would be more or less wrapped up. And as discussed earlier, that would be the time at that point when all of the renovations and new construction have happened, that, for instance, we would be closing Moon Elementary, but it would be remaining open until that time. So that's a look at our timeline and the process that would be followed here. That's a lot of information for you. The last thing I'll just provide for you is the survey link. This is the link that will take you to that survey. There is also a link to it available on our website. I do appreciate you listening to this complete presentation. I know it takes a while to go through some of this, but I hope it has provided context that will be helpful for you as you reflect on things and as you answer the questions on that survey. Again, please note that with that link there, that caps are required if you're going to type that into your address line by hand. So we would like to very much thank you for your interest and your support of Muskegon Public Schools. If you have any questions about this video, please do not hesitate to ask. You can call our main school district switchboard and ask questions through there, and we will try to provide answers as best we can. We're always willing to meet with any of our constituents and answer any questions that you might have that can provide you more information. Again, we are looking to take this for final approval by the board in November of 2019 in anticipation of a May 2020 election. Thank you for your attention and for your support of Muskegon Public Schools.